Hello Internet, my name's Sim, and as ever, thank you for joining me on SimSaw. Today I'll be taking a spoiler-free look at the new Superman movie, Man of Steel. To open, what can I say except... I went in there with all the hope in the world. Yes, it was Zack Snyder and he's burned me before, but he's also done some wonderful things, so, you know, I was hopeful. Unfortunately, what I received was perhaps a good Superman film, but it was not a good film. I don't know what the need is now to have moody, emo versions of our popular heroes, but you know, I'm going to forgive that because it's a new take. From the outset, we saw a look at Krypton that we'd never seen before in a lot of detail and a lot of action sequences with a surprisingly kick-ass Russell Crowe as Jor-El. However, I from the outset felt I'd already seen 3 films, let alone the one that I turned up to see. This seemed to be a mishmash of established tropes and styles and storylines from a variety of different films that didn't come together to make something new. As soon as we get past that and actually start seeing Superman, we skip past the formative childhood, which, yes, we have seen this 100,000 times before. But it's a double-edged sword cutting that out because we are not as bonded to the human side of the character. Particularly with the huge opening sequence on Krypton, we are viewing this as an alien outsider, which, again, no bad thing. Unfortunately, it meant I had no emotional connection to our lead main character throughout the film. Also, at 2.5 hours, I felt this film was, yes, very tightly cut. Every shot was about as, short as they could make it. However, I felt it was actually a film in 2 halves rather than 3 acts. We had opening, formative, start out, and then a huge, long, drawn-out set of action sequences that, while visually stunning, got boring and repetitive after a while. Yes, we get it. Superman cannot be hurt by bullets. He cannot be blown up or smashed with trains. Also, thanks to a wide variety of superhero action, epic disaster, and Michael Bay explosion fests in recent years, I have seen so many major metropoli totaled in the course of action and entertainment, and again, this left me bored. I really feel like this film was rushed. It didn't know what it was trying to portray, but it knew what it didn't want to portray, which is what we'd seen 100 times before. I found most of the characters in this film completely unengaging. The Kents were passive, particularly Papa Costner was confusing in his motivations. He wanted his son to succeed and become all he could be, but also hide him in the shadows, where, makes logical sense for a small superpowered child, became increasingly strained as the film went on. I found Lois Lane at her most believable when she was being Lois Lane, investigative reporter, but as soon as she got on board, as it were, she just became a mouse, a secondary whimsy character that seemed to just be dropped into the plot to help move things inexplicably along. The crux of the matter, there was no real coherent arc here. Superman really didn't seem to do anything for the majority of the film, just leaving ancillary characters to make plot exposition and explain pseudoscience to the viewer. There were a vast array of Easter eggs, only a few of which I grabbed onto. However, what was most subtly infuriating was actually the sheer number of established sci-fi and previous movie actors that popped up in this film, ranging from several people from The Matrix, Battlestar Galactica, and several more. This script needed more time, in my opinion, and was also pitched at an audience that was not really me. This was a summer blockbuster for the grand masses, in the same way that Star Trek wasn't perhaps specifically geared towards established Star Trek fans. This was not geared towards established Superman fans. Now, I do get fanboys are going to get upset when they don't see what they are familiar with. I am not a huge Superman fan. I'm a comic book fan, but I'm a film fan. In this particular instance, what I saw, as I said, was a good Superman film. It was a good take on the established canon, a good reinterpretation of it, with a lot of side stuff that has been stepped over or ignored previously. However, in itself, as part of a narrative structure, character development, all these other things that we have to care about before we can accept that a man in no pants can fly around and blow things up, they didn't happen. In conclusion, I am disappointed, but it was a disappointment that I was prepared for. As with so many incarnation of DC films, particularly with the knee-jerk reaction to the success of Marvel films, this was not thought out as a character-driven piece. This was a visual special effects extravaganza with some momentary nice points, but very stilted dialogue and poorly scripted narrative. Yes, it's getting a sequel, and I've got a feeling this is going to be the start of the Justice League ramp-up, but I question the angle they're going to take with this particularly dark yet bland Superman. Anyway, what did you guys think? I get the impression this is a very polarizing love it or loathe it film. Did you love it? Did you loathe it? Are you a small minority of ambivalent in-betweeners? Let me know in a comment down below. And until next time, my name's Sim, and that's what I saw.